oversized. That's one thing I miss doing too. I never hauled houses or anything, but just doing oversized loads, man. Back when I was over the road, man, that shit was a lot of fun. I think the best thing I ever hauled was a damn fire truck. I hauled a fire truck when I worked for rail. Delivered it to the Port of Baltimore. It was fun because I didn't get to load it, but I got to unload it, and that was awesome. It was just a cool experience. Stuff I miss from my over-the-road days. I did over the road for 2 years. 2 years, yeah. As soon as I turned 23, I put an application in with Eagle Transport to haul fuel local. That's how I got into hauling gas. They'll hire you at 23 with 2 years experience. It's alright, cool. Started hauling gas and it's been that ever since. 2013. This November will be 10 years driving trucks and 8 years hauling fuel. I'll be 31 in October. 31 years old. I think I said in one of my other videos, the "You Ain't a Real Trucker If" video. I turned 21 when I was in truck driving school. Yeah, I went to truck driving school. You can watch that video. But I turned 21 in truck driving school, and my situation was a bit different because, well, I wouldn't say different. It just I had a crappy situation. So the school I went to, I was 18 at the time. I was 18 when I figured out, hey, I want to be a truck driver. Tried going to that school. I did the they had it to where you could do your book work and all that online. That way, when you come to resident training, and you're straight in a truck. You're right. You get thrown right into a truck, and you know, you're constantly running. You know, you have a lot more time in the truck versus sitting in a classroom just doing book work and stuff. So anyway, I did all the online courses, but then I couldn't get approved to, because I couldn't pay for the school out of pocket. I had to finance it through them. They do offer financing, and I couldn't get, I couldn't get approved for financing even after I already did the online classes. I couldn't get approved for financing for the whole loan amount because they couldn't guarantee me a job. They couldn't guarantee that I'd get a job because, well, I'm 18. We don't have a whole lot of places, at least not where I lived in like south of Jacksonville. There weren't a whole lot of places. Even small dump truck companies won't hire you at 18 years old. At least the ones that I would call. I mean, hell, I called and asked. But nah, they wanted you to be at least 21. Which I understand. I mean, that's insurance reasons, you know, and it's, hell, insurance is getting even worse these days. Just getting worse and worse. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I got my start in that school. Well, turns out, you know, I couldn't get approved for the rest of the loan. Well, I still had to pay for half the school because that's what they considered, that book work was half. And damn. And so it was like, it turned out to be like $2,200. That was like the first, that was just for the book work, and then you paid $2,800 to where, you know, it evened out to $5,000 at that time. It costs more now, but then it was $2,800 for the resident training, where you actually learn to drive a truck. I couldn't get approved for that, so anyway, I had to pay that $2,200, and I ended up going and working, what was it? I turned 19. Yeah, I was 19 years old at the time, and I ended up going and working for the sheriff's office in my home county. They sent me to school and all that. I did that for about a year and a half. I was 20. I was almost 21. I said, you know what? Screw this. I got tired of working at the sheriff's office. I was in corrections and dealing with inmates and all that stuff in the jail, of course. But I just got tired of doing corrections and got tired of working at the sheriff's office for how much I was getting paid at that time, which was a whopping $29,000 a year. $29,000 a year, and you get paid once a month. I think after taxes, I made like $1,500 a month after taxes. And oh man, at 19 years old, I thought I was rolling in the money. Well, about a year and a half later, I just got burnt out doing it. I really wasn't making all that much extra, and I wasn't real happy there. I said, you know what? I really want to be a truck driver. I really want to be a truck driver. So, luckily at the sheriff's office, like you accrued vacation time very, very quickly. And so I was there for like a year, and I had like 3 weeks of vacation saved up. And I spent every bit of it because resident training at that truck driving school was 3 weeks. So I spent every bit of it, and then I worked on the weekends, you know, at the sheriff's office. But Monday through Friday, I spent every bit of my my vacation time to go to truck driving school. But anyway, I was 20 years old, and I went up there and I went to one of their open houses, and I asked them, I said, hey, you know, back when I was 18, I paid for half the school. Would that money that I paid transfer to, you know, if I wanted to finance, you know, get financing for school now that I'm 20, you know, and I was going to turn 21 in that class. And so one of the guys, he went and talked to he talked to the owner of the school, and the owner of the school said, yeah, you know, we'll obviously, you know, we'll count that first half that you already paid, and we'll finance the other half. I said, all right, awesome. Because now, you know, I was going to turn 21 in the school, in which I did, of course, but I was going to turn 21 in the school, so so they ended up financing it. So anyway, man, I went to school for 3 weeks. It was freaking awesome. Like, I had a blast because I love trucking. Like, I just loved the trucking industry. Even before I got into it, like, I just loved everything about trucks. And I remember being a kid, and I watched this video. It was about Peterbilt, but it was like a video. It was Modern Marvels. That's what it was. Modern Marvels, when they did Peterbilt, and they showed like how the trucks are made, how they're assembled, put together, painted, all that shit. It was awesome. Like, ever since I was a little kid, I was like, this is freaking awesome. And of course, I always wanted to drive along those Peterbilt. I got to later on down the line, and it was every bit of as exciting as I thought it would be. I freaking love that truck. But anyway, and I'd love to have another one. But yeah, so anyway, went through school. I turned 21. Like, it was the last week I turned 21. Last week of school I turned 21. It was like 2 days before we tested out. We tested out on a Friday. I passed everything. Luckily, I passed everything. So the way that they do it is they would do like a draw. It was like a computer generated random thing for like what you would get for your test. Some people would have to do, you know, you always had to do an offset back, straight line backing, but when it came to alley dock or side and blind side parallel parking, that was computer generated of which one you had to do. And I got what was it, the computer generated one for me, where, and also for the pre-trip, they don't make you pre-trip the entire truck, but you can. Like, if the computer says, yeah, full pre-trip, you got to pre-trip the entire truck and trailer. Some people, they just had to do the left side. Other people just the right side. And some people just had the trailer. Mine was, I had to pre-trip the entire left side of the truck. You know, so you pop the hood, you go down the left side of the engine. I mean, everything down the left side. And then and then I had a blind side offset back, straight line backing, of course. And then what I got drawn was a blind side parallel park. No, I'm sorry, side parallel park. I remember that. Well, they had an old white Volvo, and what I mean by is that was when white and Volvo were like part of the same. I can't remember if they were the same company or, you know, kind of like how white Freightliner was. But it was a Volvo, and it, you know, it said white on the front and then Volvo underneath it or something like that. But actually, I could be freaking wrong about that. I don't even remember. But anyway, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the damn comments. Like, no, that's wrong. But anyway, it was an old Volvo with like what was it? It wasn't a sleeper. Well, yeah, it was. It was the one where it had like the little 20-inch sleeper or 30-inch sleeper. It was just big enough for you to lay down, and that was it. But everybody wanted to use that truck for all the backing because the other trucks, because they had a very short wheelbase. All the other trucks that we had for backing were, you had a T600. I'm sorry, it was a T600B model. Or you had, it was 2 T600s and then the Volvo. That's what they used for backing. And anyway, I got to use that Volvo for parallel parking, and I was so happy with myself. Like, I passed everything. I was real, you know, you have to pass all of that before you go and do your road test. And so finally, when you get to the road test and you go and do that, I felt bad for this one dude in my class. He was he was fresh out of the military. He drove the trucks in the military, and apparently all of those were automatics. And you know, we were learning on manual trucks. So shifting was like the hardest thing for almost everybody. It was backing and shifting were the two hardest things. And but anyway, I felt bad for him because he ended up failing. He failed his driving test, I think, twice, but he passed it on the third time. And oh, that's nice. I really hope that was Mountain Dew. Oh, he does have his blinker on. Okay, well, he just now turned it on. It's like he's fucking trying to come over. And I'm like, dude, I never saw his blinker. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did have his blinker on. I don't know. But anyway, let him on over. This is such a shitty intersection. I mean, it's freaking horrible. Because everybody's coming out of the truck stops trying to get on I-10. I know they're like redoing this entire interchange, but still. Back to the story. Yeah, so I got to use a Volvo for mine, and I passed everything on backing and all that shit. And what was it? If you want over, use your damn blinker, dipshit. Cause I know that's what he wanted. But anyway, I went out and I ended up passing my, you know, passed my driving test and all that stuff. I was real happy. So everybody that passed, you know, everyone that basically passed on the first, it was like the first or second try, you would have enough time, like it, you know, during testing, because if you passed, shit, what was it? It was after lunch is when they would do, you know, retests. And so if you pass on the first or second time, or it's, shit, now I'm confused. Anyway, after lunch they would do retests. I just remember, like, if you passed everything on the first try, then they would give you your paper saying you passed all the stuff, and you could go down the road to the DMV and get your, or tax collector's office, or whatever we have in Florida. Used to have DMV, it ain't DMV anymore, it's tax collector's office. Anyway, yeah, you take that piece of paper down there and get your CDL. It's freaking awesome. I was so happy. The only only thing I would have changed back when I got all that was I would have straight out of the gate, I would have gotten hazmat and then doubles, triples, all that stuff, just to have it, you know, because later on down the line, when I was 23 and I was wanting to go haul fuel, well, that's when I you know, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, there's no sign that says you can't turn right on red, and technically you could turn right there. I mean, that's the ramp for like big trucks. Like, watch him. Is he gonna do a U-turn, or is he going? Okay, yeah. See, this is the ramp for the big trucks to get onto I-10 East. You take that around. It's like, technically, there ain't no sign that says I can't turn right on red. So if this was red, you know, I could pretty much turn right here and get onto I-10. But I'm pretty sure they'd still try to give you a ticket for that. And when it comes to getting no ticket or getting a ticket and having to go to court and fight it, I'd rather just not get a damn ticket in the first place. But anyway, but yeah, if I had to do it again, I would have right off the bat, I would have gotten all my endorsements as much as I could, because at 23 and being over the road at the time, I was trying to go back and get my hazmat and tanker endorsement to where I could get a local job hauling fuel, and it was just a pain in the ass, because then you got to try to get back in time, go up to the to the tax collector's office, do everything to try to get your license, and then they gotta submit your background check for the TSA and all that. It's a big hassle, you know, it really is. And anyway, yeah, I would have got, like, any advice I could give to new people would be like, yeah, when you go to get your license, like, go ahead and get all the endorsements you can right off the bat. But anyway, because you never know what you're gonna do later on down the line. But yeah, as soon as I turned 23, started hauling fuel, and the rest is pretty much history.